That's John King over there. I'm Peter Christian, and on the telephone with us right now is Travis Kavulla. We have a Facebook comment, John.
It ties in with your question too.
Okay.
Claire asks, a water right ? So who owns the water? By the way, how would the CSKT water right compact affect Missoula's water? Travis, here's your can of worms. Enjoy.
We open up a can of worms for you.
This is the time in the program where I'm happy to mention that I'm elected by people in Great Falls and to the north and east of there.
Okay, all right.
But no, I will say, it goes back to the old adage that, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting in the West.
I thought Brian Schweitzer made that one up because he used to use it every week.
Oh, he loves to use that one, but like so much of Brian, I think he was borrowing it from another person like Mark Twain or something.
There you go.
But so
even the veto thing was on loan from God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, but no, I mean, a lot of these conflicts, obviously date back to history. I'm a student of history, and it's really interesting how tribes got shuffled around in the 19th century. A tragedy on one hand, but as tragic as it was in the 19th century, it was also something that sowed the seeds for all these conflicts that are just coming up now a short 150 years later. And this is one of them. I wish Western Montanans good luck in trying to solve this. My impression is that it should not affect the water right that Mountain Water has to serve the people of Missoula. If it does, then clearly any kind of compact is going to be, at least from my perspective, a non-starter. But it's a complicated point because it's the intersection of treaty law and obligations that were made a long time ago and of water law, where you not only have to, there's not only the component of first in time, first of right, but you also need to show that you've been putting that water to beneficial use. And there's certainly a lot of cases where say a city like Great Falls has tried to claim water rights on swaths of the Missouri River and have not really been able to make good on those claims because they haven't been putting that water to significant use since they'd claimed it. So I don't know, it's frankly for, both landowners and rights holders and lawyers to figure out. One thing I do know is that the longer that it's not figured out, the worse it is for everyone.
And the more the lawyers make as well. So now my question to you is this: as a public service commissioner, and you guys regulate utilities, do you have any power within the various reservations through the sovereign nations that live on those reservations? Are any of their utilities regulated by the Public Service Commission, or are they exempt from those rules?
No, they are, in as much as they're customers of Northwestern Energy. I have a lot of tribal lands in my territory, and a lot of Blackfeet and Fort Belknap Reservation dwellers. Those people are customers of Northwestern Energy, and they pay Northwestern Energy rates. Now, the tribes retain power of taxation, so there is, for instance, a Blackfeet tribal utility tax that gets imposed on the utility and then is spread to ratepayers. So they have the power to tax properties in their reservation, but if they want electricity from an investor-owned utility that the Public Service Commission regulates, they have to pay the same as everyone else. And, I will say we also have some regulation over telecommunications. We have the obligation to certify carriers to be able to offer low-income discounts or work in high-cost rural areas where the companies receive federal subsidies. And it's always a real problem, just like it is for any network infrastructure business to obtain rights of way on tribal lands. I know people have had their fair share of disputes with the Salish Kootenai over there in western Montana, landowners and the tribe, but it's very hard to get anything done east of the Rockies, and there's been a lot of good projects trying to build out fiber infrastructure and increasing broadband speeds, building oil and gas pipelines that have just fallen on the rocks because people don't want to negotiate right-of-ways, and that really holds back development, sadly, in east of the Rockies.
If you could go back to just a little bit, talking about Mountain Water Company. You can't tell us, obviously, how much the executives pay, even though legally they should be telling us. I'm curious, can you give us a history of the non-disclosure? There was a point in time when they...
And John, before we get back to...
yeah, this is from Claire. She says, there are tribal compacts affecting the Great Falls area. The Blackfeet tribe is one of the 7 Indian compacts. Does Travis, I guess I'm going to insert the name here, does Travis realize that all 6 tribes said that depending on the CSKT compact outcome, that they may renegotiate theirs?
Yeah, the bottom line is yes. Well aware that this has a lot of impact. I'm happy to say that it seems to have brewed up less in water court proceedings than the other places, but sure, it'll have reverberations everywhere, and not just in Montana too, potentially.
Okay, let's get to Jim. Jim, thanks for holding. You're on Talk.
The PSC has to approve tariffs before they begin charging people rates that are specific to that system. But so far, consumers themselves in Montana, through their rates, haven't had to pay any money. Although, of course, they're paying for the stimulus package. But call your congressman on that one.
And we are going to be paying for this type of hookup to the smart grid.
Only if you're a consumer on the smart grid using that tariff. If you're not a smart grid customer, then you won't be.
Now, do you have to specifically request to be on the smart grid? Is that how that works?
It's a pilot program, and it's only been in Helena and in Phillipsburg. The Phillipsburg one is just for rural circuits, rural reliability protection.
Which is where Airline is calling from.
Let me interrupt. We've already had a couple of fires caused by these new poles being connected.
Wow.
Thank you.
Elena, thanks for your call. And Travis, unfortunately, Stacy, I'm sorry, we are completely out of time. We have less than 30 seconds. So give us your phone number again, Travis, where we can get in touch with you.
Sure. Call me anytime. It's 406-444-6166.
All right. It's been a pleasure. And is there a website we can go to find out?